Home First Confirmation Families. Pastor Seth here from Divine Redeemer with this week's lesson. Now, as you know, we've been working through the Lord's Prayer. We've gone through Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. That was our first lesson. We learned your kingdom come, thy will be done as our next lesson. And you just walked through the petition of give us this day our daily bread. But now we're moving into a bit of a different and sometimes troublesome topic that people don't understand what Jesus is teaching in this prayer. Because he then moves on to say, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation. Now, what does that mean? Trespasses. We don't often, use that word when we're talking to each other. It's not like you stole my lunch money, therefore you've trespassed against my finances or something silly like that. We don't do that because we don't usually use that term. But this is probably where you have seen this word being used. When you're going into an area that you're not supposed to go in, there's typically a sign that says no trespassing. Now, usually what that means is you can't go past it. But guess what? I put this sign here so I can go wherever I want. But when you see this, what it means is, look, you can come this far and you're fine, but as soon as you go past that sign, you're no longer working in the spaces where you are supposed to be. You're trespassing. So how does that work with the Lord's Prayer? Well, in this prayer, Jesus is saying, look, you need to be forgiven of your trespasses. Jesus is saying, look, I've told you that your life is a life that can be lived to the full. You can live it according to his will in so many different ways. You can see his kingdom coming in your life through the words of his promise. You can give him thanks for daily bread that he gives to you to support you richly and daily in life. You can pray to your Father in heaven and occupy your time that way. You can see his name being made holy through his word. All of these things are ways that your life can be full, but just don't go past what I've told you you can't do. Because once you go past and you trespass into the land of sin, out of the land of his will, well, that's where you're going to have problems. And Jesus doesn't want you to trespass because he doesn't want your life to be full of more sin. But he also realizes that as humans, you and I, we do look at that trespass sign and we think it's not that bad. Consequences aren't going to be too bad. And so we go to the other side and we trespass. We sin against him, we sin against our brothers and our sisters. And he's saying that we need forgiveness for all the times we trespassed. But he also says that since we have been forgiven of our trespasses, there have been other people that wandered past our no trespassing zone and they've sinned against us, they've trespassed against us. And just like we're forgiven, in this prayer that we publicly pray with other Christians, we are also praying that that grace would be so overflowing that we would forgive other people their trespasses too. Well, how does this fit with the next petition about lead us not into temptation? And many people misunderstand this. They think they're praying that God wouldn't tempt them, as in like God will move them into temptation and we're just pleading with him not to do that. And that's not the case at all. What this is saying is, God, lead us away from temptation, because we know naturally where we're going to want to go. When somebody says, don't go over there, our first instinct is going to be to go over there. If there's a sign that says no trespassing, our instinct isn't usually like, oh, I'm going to heed that warning. It's usually like, I bet you they're hiding something cool back there. I'm going to go back there too. What we're praying for in this petition is that temptation, the struggle to get as close to that sign as possible, and maybe even past it, that's temptation. We're asking God in Jesus to lead us away from temptation and to actively support us working in the land of his good and gracious will, where we're able to have a full life in his grace. Now, if you're praying that petition, and his grace is over you because of all of your trespasses, and his grace is all over your friends because you're forgiving them their trespasses, and you're moving away from temptation because your word is working and active in your life, well, that's just another way that you see Christ in your home first. Have a wonderful week, and God bless you guys.